Yat saukhyam buddhi lesha leshata ime shakradhayo nirvrita yachitte nitaram prashanta kalane labdhva munir nirvrita yasmin nitya sukham budhau galitadhihi brahmaiva na brahmavid yakaschit sa surendra vandita pado nunam manisha mama Yat saukhyam buddhi lesha leshata ime shakradayo nirvrita yacchitte nitaram prashanta kalane labdhva munir nirvritaha yasmin nitya sukham budhau galitadhihi brahmaiva na brahmavit yakaschit sa surendra vandita pado nunam manisha mama. This is the last verse of Manisha Panchakam. So the first four verses we saw were, before the first verse was the introduction, how the whole event happened. Then the next four verses were, each one was a Mahavakya. Prajnanam Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi, and the last previous one we saw was I am Atma Brahma. So each one is from one Veda. Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, Atharvana Veda. The last one is the result of this understanding. It is almost like a Phalashruti, but what it is indicating here is what is the joy that one receives. So usually when we talk about Brahmajnanam, Atmajnanam, we talk about three things: Sat, Chit and Ananda. Sat is consciousness, Chit is existence. Sat is existence, consciousness, bliss. Ananda was not spoken in the first four verses. First four gives you the introduction to, or gives you the the idea or the understanding of Sat and Chit. Here there is the description of Ananda. This is the outcome. Like we say, what is the purpose of doing all of this? Ananda. Saukhyam. See, Perivala அந்த காலத்துல, not அந்த காலம், those who are slightly elderly, the way they will always bless you is Saukhyama அப்படிம்பா. And the ka will be so with so much of stress. It comes from their heart. May you be well. May you be happy. May you be fulfilled and joyful. Saukhyam here means fulfilled, joyful. May you be in Ananda. They don't say let all your problems go away. Nobody tells that. Whenever you get a blessing from a Mahatma, you will see elderly or a Mahatma, either they will say moksham praptirastu, either you get liberation. If you go to a Mahatma, they will say that. Or Perivalla, elderly in the house, they will say Saukhyamaire. Be Saukhyam means doesn't matter whatever is the condition, you be happy, you be joyful. This is what they always bless us with. So essentially, this is what we are looking for also. This Ananda, without the result, without an understanding of why we are doing what we are doing, we will always be running behind something. See, if you look at these small puppy dogs that we keep as pets, you look at the way they run. You throw a ball, they will run and get the ball. If I throw a stick, they'll again suddenly run and go and get the stick. Even if you don't throw something, just do the action, it will start running without knowing why it is running. See, imagine our condition is not very different. Somebody will throw like that and we start running. எதுக்கு ஓடுறோம் எங்க ஓடுறோம்? Oh, somebody has told you'll get this, if you do this, you'll get that, go run. Somebody told you'll get this if you do that, go run. My father-in-law tried this. My wife will say, my father-in-law tried this experiment once in a temple. He suddenly stood at one place and started looking up. And he said, in 5 minutes, 20 people are standing there and looking up. Yeah, there is something there. There's human tendency. They're always seeking for something. So this sukha. So imagine if you are completely sukha, and we have experienced this, there is a particular state of joy, happiness, fulfillment. How many times, many a times rather, you would know that when you are in that, you would, if somebody is coming and giving you something, take, or calling you somewhere, you'll say, no, I'm not wanting to go. I'm not wanting to, I don't want it. It's okay. I'm happy where I am. We say this, right? We all have this experience. We say this. And we say this from a, not necessarily to, it's not necessarily in terms of course, sometimes you do that also, you want to escape that, you don't want to go into, it's not a very favorable place you want to go to. But otherwise, a lot of times, even if it's a kovilke, nariya times when you say somebody calls you to a temple, you say, it's okay, I'm fine. It's a good place to go, but still, you feel complete, you feel fulfilled. Now, this comes from a place of some lesha leshata ime. Lesana or sandosham. Lesha leshata ime is little bit. We experience that little bit of joy. And sometimes when we experience that little bit of joy also, we feel satisfied and fulfilled. What Adi Shankara is saying here is, imagine how it will be when you are completely fulfilled with this full understanding. Even this little joy, we are not talking about complete self-realization. That is Brahma, that is complete Anandam. Not Brahmanandam, but Brahmajnanam is, or Atmajnanam, or understanding the self, or understanding your relationship with Bhagavan. That Anandam is the ultimate Anandam. He says, even the gods, Shakra Adayah, Shakra is Indra. Indradi Devataha, they are also enjoying the bliss, which is only a fraction of this bliss that we talk about, Satchitananda. The Ananda that is derived in the understanding of being in the absorption of Sat and Chit. The Ananda that comes from there, what the gods experience, which means Indras and the other devatas, they all experience, that is only a fraction of a fraction. Lesha leshata ime. A fraction of a fraction. So this joy, a lot of times when we say the celestial beings are enjoying much more than we do, there's a reference to it in Taittiriya Upanishad, Anandavalli. It talks about how the Ananda there are multiple lokas. So from the Bhuloka, the Bhuvarloka, Suvarloka, Mahatapa, so all the lokas, as you go up, the amount of happiness you can enjoy is more and more and more, relatively. Suppose you have everything here and you experience through Vishaya. Through Vishaya, you get a particular Ananda. By obtaining things, you get Ananda. When you get that Ananda, here in this Loka, you get a particular type of Ananda. This body and this mind can only experience so much. Maximum also, even if you take the maximum, what it can experience through Vishaya, Bhoga. The Upanishad says the celestial Gandharva Loka, Pitruloka, Gandharva Loka, they can experience more than this. They can experience 100 times of this. Then you go to Swargaloka, there you can experience 100 times of that. And so on and so forth. You keep going till Brahmaloka, where you can experience the Vishaya Ananda that you can experience is so much more than what you can experience here. But the joy of Atmanandam, which means understanding that all of this joy is essentially coming from that one source. He's saying that understanding does not equate even to Brahmananda. Even that is only a fraction of this particular Ananda that one experiences. Now, just to very simply understand, we know when we want something. So right now I am just sitting doing nothing. Suddenly a thought arises in my mind. We saw in the previous sessions how the consciousness, the Atma, or the principle that is there within me, that enlivens the mind. We spoke about the sun and the moon. Chidabhasa, the abhasa, the chit that shines as the mind is the light derived from the sun, which is the Atma, which is the consciousness, which I am, the self. The mind, what it does, it then enlivens the sense organs. The eyes, ears, nose, smell, touch, and all that. The sense organs then enlivens the world, the Vishaya. So the world becomes alive to me because of my sense organs. The sense organs are alive because of the mind. The mind is alive because of my consciousness. Now, what happens in my mind when there is nothing, it's calm, no problem. Suddenly a thought will appear. This is called as a vritti. A vritti will appear in the mind saying, I want an Apple Watch. I want an Apple Watch, the latest series. The vritti appears. And of course, then you will calculate and then you will see, can I afford? Do I have enough savings? Or do I put an EMI? They say, people say now, those days we would put EMI only for houses and probably automobile and all that. Now EMI for phones also. Because the phones are so expensive that you have to take them on EMI. You take a 3-year EMI on a phone that stops running after 2.5 years. The remaining 6 months you're just paying the EMI. You've overrun its utility, but you're still continuing to pay. So now this thought appears in the mind. I want to go buy. And then comes this desire along with it. I want. And then somewhere I feel that if I get that, I'll be happier. I'll be able to do this, that, and the other, and it'll give me joy. And then I go procure it. I go purchase it. I save and all that, and I go buy it. When I buy it, there is a particular sense of satisfaction that appears in the mind, right? Because what has happened, this desire that I wanted the object has now been fulfilled by the purchasing of the object or possessing of the object. Now, when that satisfaction happens, what happens is the desire has now subsided. When the desire subsides, the joy that is there inside, which is perennial joy, that reveals itself. It is as though I'm just cleaning my mirror of that desire and suddenly I can see my face. Was the face not there? The face was there. The face is my face. This is a true face. The mirror is the mind. I'm not able to see it clearly. That joy is not experienced. But the moment, why, how is it covered? It's covered by desires, vritti. I want this, I want that. So my mind is constantly, or I don't want this. So my mind is constantly in that. There is a time when something is either fulfilled or something is taken away, some suffering is taken away, or some desire is fulfilled. At that moment, the mind becomes calm. The moment the mind becomes calm, the joy that is already there, it suddenly reveals itself. And we think that we've associated that joy to the object. Joy is not because of the object. Joy is because of the dropping of the desire for the object. Either you drop it or you fulfill it. There are only two ways. Pravritti marga, nivritti marga. Pravritti marga is you go get it, bhoga. Nivritti marga is you renounce it, yoga. You either go take it or you drop the desire for it. There's fulfillment in both of these cases. But where is the joy coming from ultimately? In both of these cases, it's not from the object. It is coming from within me. Now, when I recognize this, that this joy is only coming from inside of me all the time, whether the object is there, not there, whether something has happened or not happened, I just have to create an environment where it reveals itself. That is all. Correct? The mirror, when it needs to see your face, when you need to see your face, of course, if the mirror is damaged entirely, like we say, if our mind gets so damaged, there's no way out. People have mental conditions, right? That is very unfortunate. It's like the mirror damaged. The mercury on the mirror is faded, it's gone off. So whatever you do, how much ever you clean the mirror, you can't. You have to go and reapply the mercury at the back for it to now start reflecting. So if a mind becomes so distorted, then we need medical attention, medical help. But until then, when we are in a condition where we are reasonably sane, all we need to do is keep cleaning the mind. And then this joy is experienced. A very beautiful example, Swami Nochur, I heard this, he talks about. He says, there are two ants. Okay. One ant used to live in a salt jar, and one ant used to live in the sugar jar. The ant in the salt jar is used to taking salt and thinks that is the best thing. That is the, that is joy. The sugar ant meets the salt ant and he says, have you not tasted sugar? He says, no. He says, no, you should taste sugar, you'll know what it is. And then he invites him. Because the sugar, the sugar ant is so joyful, blissful in the sugar jar. Joyful, enjoying. Because it has tasted the real sugar. Now, when the salt ant comes, he thinks this is sufficient. This is enough. And the salt, it thinks that the salt taste that it is getting, that is sufficient. It's like the material joys that we get. Thinks it's sufficient. Then when he invites him, the sugar ant invites the salt ant, he gives him a block of sugar and says, taste it. The salt ant tastes it and he says, yeah, it's okay. I don't see much of a difference. Sugar ant is surprised. He says, how come? Sugar is so sweet. You must have been excited by this time just by tasting it. It's so great. He says, yeah, I just feel the same. And then the sugar ant is really perplexed. And he says, open your mouth. And then he opens the salt ant, opens the mouth, and he sees there is a small grain of salt in the salt ant's mouth. So there he has kept a grain of salt inside his mouth. Now whatever you taste, you'll always feel salt only. Then the sugar ant says, "Can you please spit it out?" They say, "Are you sure?" They say, "Yeah, spit it out and then taste it. You will know." Go. Then he says, "Spit it out. Go wash your mouth. Now come and taste the sugar." And then the ant tastes sugar and he feels the joy of sweetness. So the example is to say that that is how it is. We have put salt in our mouth. All my problems, my issues, my way, my perceptions, my way of looking at the world, everything is in here. How much ever Vedanta, how much ever dhyana, mantra, shloka, even Krishna will come down, Jesus Christ will come down, nothing will happen because our salt is there inside. No, we have not spat it out. We are carrying our salt. Whatever they put, honey, nectar, amrutam, whatever they put, we will not feel the taste of it. Pulichi poche, this is a term that you would have heard. Even a lot of times it happens. I have read so much Vedanta, so much spiritual books. I have read this, I have read that. But my life is the same drudgery. Why? Because you have never let that sweetness enter you at all. If we don't let that sweetness, and how do you let the sweetness enter you? You clean the mirror. You have to clean your mind. You have to clean yourself. You have to take the effort to make yourself cleanse yourself. Chitta Shuddhi, very important step. Chitta Shuddhi is very important. So we take steps, we do chants, we do bhajana, we do satsanga, sankirtana, all of this we do so that the chitta slowly becomes shuddha and the sweetness of life enters into us. See, in the same condition, even worse conditions, all the Mahatmas you read about them, which is why it is very important once in a while to read about the life story of Mahatmas. None of them were in comfortable air conditioned houses with the comfort of sofa couches, maids and servants coming and working for them. No, they didn't have all of this. Yet they are the ones who are guiding us today, saying that I have tasted the sweetness of life. How did they taste the sweetness of life without having the luxuries that we have today? The same sweetness of life is available to us even today. Salt in our mouth has to be spat out. We have to clear our minds. We have to clear our all of this process, but with the trust, with that goal, with that clarity of thought that yes, Ananda is available at the end of it. Because enough people have told that there is Ananda, there is joy, there is bliss, there is there. And again, it is not at the end of it means you have to wait for some date and time when it will come to you. You have to experience it. As we said, it reveals itself at times. You either fulfill your desire, it will reveal it, or you drop your desire, it will reveal it. Now you need to see which one helps you, which is much more sustainable. Continuing to fulfill your desire and revealing that joy, is that sustainable? Or dropping the desire, is it sustainable? What is better in the long term? And by dropping desire doesn't mean that you're going to depression, what is there in life, not like that. You don't hanker behind things. You start seeing how things are happening beautifully to you. It is a shift in the way we see. So what he is saying here, yat saukhya ambudhi lesha leshata ime shakra adayah nirvrita. So he's saying this this complete fulfillment happiness that is there, a fraction of that, the fraction of the ocean of joy is experienced by a fraction of the fraction of this ocean of joy is experienced by Indra and his devatas. Only a fraction of this joy that is available to us now. He's saying that which ocean of joy that is available to you right now, you don't have to run anywhere. Even Indra and devatas are getting only a fraction of this. Yat chitte nitaram prashanta kalane labdva munir nirvitaha. And this joy is found in the silencing of the mind. Nitaram, completely silencing of the mind. Having gained munihi, this muni who has gained this labdva nirvritaha is fulfilled. This complete silencing of the mind. Yogaha chitta vritti nirodhaha. Yoga is essentially bringing your mind to a particular state of cessation where this joy reveals itself. And we practice this. It doesn't come in a day. I have so many problems around me. All that is there. As I said again, we need to remember this. I keep repeating this one beautiful thing that I read in Jnaneshwar, Sant Jnaneshwar's life. Nivritti Natha, his elder brother. Jnaneshwar's elder brother, Nivritti Natha. And this is the time when the Islamic invasion, the Islamic forces were causing a lot of destruction in Maharashtra. That is where they were, right? In Maharashtra and many places. Even normal people, see, even now when there are wars happening, people like you and me are not impacted that way. Fortunately, a bomb is not coming and falling at our doorstep. But at that time, when such atrocities happened, the kings, Muslim kings, they'll send armies down to villages to destroy villages, kill people, and all that. So at that time, they were teaching Jnaneshwar and Nivrittinatha, they were going and teaching, they were doing Sankirtanam, they were teaching Vedanta, they were teaching Bhagavan Nama. And the people came and asked, what are you talking about? Where is Bhagavan? I don't see any Bhagavan. So many atrocities, so many things are happening around here. So much devastation. People I know are either hanged or killed or the families are destroyed. Nivrittinatha says this is all there. I don't disagree. It is unfortunate all of this is happening. But even through this, when somebody is able to sit down, close his eyes, and go into that blissful presence within oneself, if you are able to do, he says, Bhagavan is there. See, the most glorious things have happened outside, the most atrocious things have happened outside, right? Ram Rajya has also happened, Hitler Rajya has also happened, right? Ram Rajya, where even the smallest Dhobi's opinion has been heard by the king and he sends Sita away. A Dhobi's opinion is heard. And then you have Hitler Rajya, where people were sent into gas chambers and burnt alive. The Holocaust. All of this has happened in the same planet now. In the same earth, all of this has happened. The Chola kings drove Ramanuja and his Shishya. They burnt the eyes of Ramanuja's Shishya because they were saying Narayana, Narayana. And they forced them to say Shiva, Shiva. All of this has happened. Fortunately, we are not in those times. Point is, all of this will happen. It will continue to happen. All of the most glorious things will happen on the outside. The most atrocious things will happen on the outside. It is important for us to recognize what do we want, where do we want to be within ourselves. And when this joy, this sugar, the secretion of the sugar we are able to taste from within, then you feel that there is a joy of ocean of joy that is there inside me. So he says, the one yatchitte nitaram prashanta kalane labdva munir nirvritaha, the one whose mind is calmed and in a state of complete no vritti, nirvritaha. It's complete silenced. Such a man is a muni and he experiences fulfillment. Fulfillment not because he has got something, got this, that, and the other. Like Buddha, Devrat, Buddha's brother, cousin came and step brother asked him, "What did you gain after 8 years of so much of practice and all that?" He says, "I didn't gain anything. I lost. I lost ego. I lost anger. I lost hatred. I lost jealousy. I gave up all that." So actually, a lot of joy is felt in giving up, which is why yajna or sacrifice or dana is considered to be the highest, because giving is the one that always gives you joy, not taking, not possessing. It is a natural way of things. Paropakaranti. What is that? Gayatri, we read the other day. There is Subhashitam. Paropakar.
Paropakaram idam sariram.
That is how it ends. Paropakarartham idam shariram. So the Subhashitam goes as paropakarar,
Paropakaraaya Palanti Vrikshaha.
Palanti Vrikshaha. Complete that.
அச்சச்சோ, அவளை மனப்பாடமா தெரியலையே.
परोपकाराय
பல-
वहन्ति नद्यः
Vahanti nadyah.
नद्यः
Then மூணாவது it is gavaha. The cows give milk for paropakara.
दुहन्ति
दुहन्ति
Gavaha.
दोहन्ति गावः परोपकारार्थम् इदं शरीरम्
Idam shariram. Paropakarar.
परोपकारार्थं
परोपकाराय फलन्ति वृक्षाः.
Phalanti vrikshaha. First is the trees give fruits to others. It doesn't consume itself. Then the rivers give water or quenches the thirst of others. It itself doesn't consume water to quench its thirst. It's just a way of saying. The cows give milk for others to consume for nourishment. And then the Subhashitakara is saying, Paropakarartham idam shariram. This is for giving. This sharira has been created so that you give for others. So in that way, when the giving up kind of, not giving up out of frustration and depression, giving up in the way knowing that there is joy in giving up. With absolute understanding, when you give up, then you won't go around saying, I have given up. You'll never say. The moment you say that I've given up means you were holding on to it. You're still holding on to it here somewhere in your head. There's another small anecdote where one monk, Zen monk, and his disciple, they're walking into the forest. And then there's a lady. Monks don't touch ladies, right? So they are brahmacharis, they want to maintain the celibacy and all. But there's a lady who is hurt herself and there. Suddenly the Zen teacher picks up the lady, carries her and brings her to some distance and drops her at a village and then goes on. The disciple is walking along and he's disturbed by this sight. Like, how can he touch a lady and carry her all the way and all that? So he musters courage and then asks the guru, says, I'm so sorry to ask you, but it's been bothering me. How did you break your vow of celibacy and carry this lady? He's saying, listen, I carried the lady and I dropped her and I moved on. You are still carrying the lady. So why are you still carrying the lady? So it's like that. You do, you go. So when you know that giving up gives you joy, not because I give up. I gave up because I am not able to do this. I am not able to do that because I am not able to get. It's not like the sour grapes story, right? So I'm not able to get it, so I give up. You give up because you know there is joy in giving up. So he says, Yat chitte netaram prashanta kalane labdva munir nirvritaha. So such a muni attains to that fulfillment. Yasmin nitya sukha ambudhau galatadhihi brahmaiva na brahmavit. Such a person who's now his mind, his conscious, his intellect, all of that has been melted into the ocean of happiness. He is no longer just the knower of Brahman, na brahmavit. He is Brahma eva. He is Brahman alone. Someone went and asked Nisargadatta Maharaj, saying, Maharaj, you are a Brahmavit. You are a knower of Brahmagyan. You are a Brahmagyani. Then he said, don't insult me. He said, why? We are telling you are a Brahmagyani, such a great position. He says, no, I am Brahman. Don't insult me saying that I am a knower of Brahman. Hey, Sarvapriyananda Swami makes a reference to this. He says, don't tell that I'm in the knower of Brahman. I am Brahman. That's it. Like the other day we spoke about one Swami. Somebody went and told the Swami, Swami, you keep telling Aham Brahmasmi. Isn't it ego? Isn't it showing off yourself and all that? Then the Muni says, yeah, that is true, but you know what to do? I am that. He says, what to do? Yes, I am that. The recognition of the self as the relationship that you have with this principle that you call Bhagavan, Brahman, Narayana, Krishna. Once you know you are that, you are in the possession of that. Once you know you're in the possession of that, you don't have an individual identity. Like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says, a salt doll walks into the ocean to measure the ocean. What will happen? What will happen to the salt doll? Finish. It will become the ocean. So once you know that identity, your identity, this individual identity they're holding, is nothing but it is that principle, that consciousness. Once you are either one with that or you're part of that, whatever. I'm not bringing philosophies here, but as an experience, once you know, Bhagavan, I am yours, you are mine, you are the only one that is here. The doership is gone. Kartrutva bhava is gone. Then he says such a person is not the knower of Brahman, because the knower of Brahman becomes again an object. I know you. The moment you say I know you, you become different from me. That is why there is one Premananda Swami, he appears on YouTube nowadays, fully yellow clad. He talks in Hindi, full yellow, puts yellow on his forehead and is fully yellow clad. Somebody asked him, he continues to say Radhe, Radhe. He'll always say Radhe, Radhe. Very beautiful person to look at. Big build. Somebody asked him, what is the context?
Knower.
Knower of Brahman. That subject
Ah.
becomes
Knower. Knower is
Correct.
different from Brahmas.
Correct. Thanks. So when he says, I am the knower, so somebody, a small child came and asked, Swamiji, when we speak to our parents also, we give them respect. Aap, Ninga, Vanga, Ponga, even to your parents, people who have given birth to you, the closest to you, your own siblings, you give them respect. But when you go to Bhagavan, we say, Tu, ni enna ipdi pandra. तू मेरे राम है तू मेरा कृष्ण है तू தான் சொல்லுவா आप அப்படிலாம் சொல்ல மாட்டே. You don't give respect to Bhagavan. So a child asked this question. And then he says, the Swami Premananda says that because he is the closest of the close, which means he is even more closer than you yourself. When you are thinking of yourself, he's there, he's closer than that. So somebody who's so close, you don't want to differentiate them as something else. So the moment you're saying, I am the knower of Brahman, I know Bhagavan, you're differentiating yourself. So he's saying, no, he's there. He's from where the thought of Bhagavan rises, he's already sitting there. Right now, if I'm thinking about Bhagavan, I'm thinking about Narayana, Krishna, Shiva, Devi, Ambal. The thought that rises, he's saying, he's already sitting there. So he's so intimate. So you don't differentiate him. So Brahma eva na Brahmavit. So here the Advaita Vedanta says that you are Brahman alone. You're not just the knower of Brahman, which is why in the Upanishad it is said that Brahmavit Brahmaiva Bhavati. The one who is the knower of Brahman is Brahman himself. Or which is why we worship gurus and acharyas who have attained to that state, because for us they are Bhagavan themselves. But they will never come and claim that I know Bhagavan. They'll never claim that. The presence, in their presence, you will experience the presence of Bhagavan. Because they themselves, which is I always repeat this Kabir's Doha. जब मैं हूं हरि नहीं, जब हरि है मैं नाही. So beautiful. You can always keep reminding ourselves. As long as I am there, Krishna, Narayana, there's no place, because I is there. When I am not there, he alone is there. He alone exists. So this is the experience. He says, na yasmin nitya sukha ambudhau galita dhihi brahmaiva na brahmavit. Such a person, his mind, his intellect, everything is dissolved. He is Brahma eva. He is not the knower of Brahman. He is not, it is not, you can't know Brahman like the knowledge of knowing the Upanishad. You can say, I know Taittiriya Upanishad, I know Andukya Upanishad, I know the Vedas, I know the Chatur Vedas. You can say that. But you can't say that I know Brahman. It is only in complete aparoksha anubhutihi. There is a work by Adi Shankara called aparoksha anubhuti. What you experience of the world is paroksha anubhuti. Even you experience yourself is paroksha. The skin, the eyes, the nose, all this paroksha. You need a medium. Aparoksha is no medium. Immediate perception. The experience that is there, immediate. The moment you close your eyes, you know that I am existing. That is immediate. Aparoksha anubhuti. Yaha kaschitsa surendra vandita pado nunam manisha mama. He's saying such a person, even Indra comes and vandita pado. Even vandita pado. Even Indra comes and worships his feet. Such a person's feet, who is in this complete sukha ambudhau, in this joy of this ocean of bliss, who's experiencing this through the understanding of who I am. Through the understanding of who I am, what I am, this whole understanding, when I come to a conclusion within me, there is nothing else but joy. There is nothing else but joy. Under the most dire circumstances, you may do fight with people, you may do this, that, and the other, but the joy doesn't go away. You will not complain. It will just be natural. You will not complain because you know that all of this, those who are reading Yoga Vasishta will know, all of this is an appearance in some form or the other, because it keeps changing. Where will you be? Where will I be? Another 50 years, 100 years. All of these philosophies will also go away. What will remain is that this individual entity, that experience of that joy is most important. We may be there in some form, some sukshma sharira hanging out somewhere, trying to figure out new bodies. Either we want that is what will happen, or while we are in this body, make use of this opportunity to dissolve as much as possible. Dissolve, 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 dissolve. And in that dissolution, there is joy. Remember, the only measure, my Guru Paramahansa Yogananda would say this. Somebody asked him, Gurudev, what is the measure of spiritual progress? He says, peace and joy. Use this as the yardstick. If through your spiritual sadhana that you do, you don't experience some amount of peace, you don't experience some amount of joy, then you're not doing the right kind of sadhana, or you're not doing the sadhana in the right way. It is not about holding the breath and doing all of this pranayama, dhyana, all of that is not to go and then improve your memory, do things better. No. If peace and joy, these two things are your yardstick, if this, we don't see this increasing and improving within us, irrespective of the condition on the outside, then something's wrong. Then you're not a spiritual sadhaka. You're not a seeker of spirituality. These will give you, all these methods will give you great benefits. But if it doesn't give you that peace and that recognition of that joy from inside, then it's wasted. So that is what Gurudev says. This is the measure. Use this as a measure. Nobody needs to come and tell, are you spiritually enlightened? Are you spiritually this? How, what level of spirituality you are in? Grade 6 larkena, sir. Grade 8 larkena. Nothing. You can measure your own spiritual progress. So with this, we come to the end of Manisha Panchakam. 5 verses. Very, very, very beautiful, because it talks about, maybe I'll take just another minute. It talks about the condition where Adi Shankara Mahatma himself for a moment dropped in his perception, and he discriminated somebody on the outside. Knowledge can come from anywhere. Understand this. And today we are in such a diverse world. Knowledge can come from anywhere. It is not only in the Bhagavad Gita. It is not only in the Upanishads. It is not only in particular texts. It can come from anywhere. These are all great tools that are available at our disposal. So we maximize the utilization of it for our own understanding. But these are all pointers. Understand that. We should keep our mind. Discrimination is the current significant problem in the world today, is discrimination. Even within spiritual fields, you see so many ashrams and so many gurus and so many these things have opened up now. Everything is discriminating. I belong to this ashram, I belong to this guru this thing, my guru that thing. This is the worst thing, right? Even in spirituality, you're creating more discrimination, more divisions. So let us take this as a lesson to say that we do not want to discriminate any further.
Divisions இருந்தா கூட பரவாயில்ல, ஒருத்தர் பாயிண்ட் அவுட் பண்ணி பேசிட்டு இருக்கா பாரு, தட் இஸ் த மோஸ்ட் டிவாஸ்டேட்டிங் திங். அவ சரியில்லை, இவா சரியில்லை, குழப்பி போட்டுறா எல்லாரும்.
So such discrimination we should stay away from. We learn from whatever sources we've got, and we give us, and what is most important, peace, joy. Saukhyama irukanum namba. We should be saukhyam at the end of the day. Only then, when people coming around us, we can give that to them, some form or the other. So that is this beautiful work, Manisha Panchakam, just small 5 verses, but very, very, very profound, very profound. So we should, possible I'll also post the audio by Brahmananda Swami. We'll probably listen to that. There are many audios there on the YouTube, but chant it yourself, try to chant and then try to absorb the meaning, and we'll see how it helps us in our pursuit. Om Kayena Vacha Manasendriyerva Buddhyatmana va Prakriti Svabhavat Karomi Yatyat Sakalam Parasmai Narayanayati Samarpayami. सदाशिवायेति समर्पयामि, जगदम्बिकेति समर्पयामि, सद्गुरुनाथायेति समर्पयामि। हरि ओम तत्सद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। गुरुदेवा।